Hello, everybody, and welcome to our weekday pick me up. This week, we are talking to a very precious family in our church, and they are none other than Sunjitha and her two sons, Avi and Arvind. So good to see all of you today. How are you guys doing?
We are doing well. We are doing well. Missing everyone in church.
Sleeping a lot.
What do you all miss most about church?
Sam, Eli, Joshua, Heidi.
All the babies.
We also miss the fellowship. The warmth that we have. The hugs. Oh my God! I've never been to any church that hugs so much. Totally enjoy.
I think we will have to do the new normal for a while. Maybe some fist bumps or air fights. Definitely, the moment that the SOPs allow us, we are going to go back to hugging for sure.
I'm sure, yeah.
Our DNA is part of who we are.
During the MCO, you had an accident. Can you tell us what happened and how did you manage?
Because we couldn't go out, I was already feeling very depressed in the sense. No social interaction, just have to stay at home and look at these two guys' faces. Of course, I have no complaints, but it does get a little bit daunting. So what I did is I started walking, clocking in my steps. So on one of the days, a friend of mine who lives nearby here decided to encourage me to go out. I took my eyes off the side, the path that I was walking. So I looked up and the surrounding. It was a very nice atmosphere. So I looked up at the trees and I said, oh wow, it's so beautiful. And the next thing, when I looked back, I had already missed the footing. So I was trying to put my foot down, and what happened is my foot went with the side, and I actually heard a crack.
Wow.
And I fractured my toe bone. Instead of ending the MCO, I had an extended MCO.
Wow.
And so it was initially quite difficult because I couldn't move. I'm also thankful that it was not a much more serious injury, because if I had fallen on the other side, there was a ravine. So I could have fallen onto the other side, but still thankful that it wasn't anything more serious.
You had such a wonderful perspective of being up and positive, even in the midst of such a challenging situation.
It was my final review with the doctor. He saw the x-ray and he did a bone scan. I have a total recovery. So, I didn't even have to go back for PCO.
Could you share how it's been for you working from home? What are the challenges you faced and how do you overcome them?
I kept myself positive. I had a small circle of friends who helped me, encouraged me. My boss has been very supportive, but keeping a positive outlook of things. Apart from that, I also listen to a lot of gospel music and Hillsong. The more I listen, I'm encouraged. I don't get easily disappointed. But I must say that it is not easy. It is not easy. For me, I feel that I always I always go back to what God has promised.
Right.
He wants us to be happy. He wants us to have joy. So in that sense, I have now learned to be a little bit more positive, right, and to actually look into how I should be happy, rather than feeling sad and depressed. I don't know. You should ask this too, because they are the ones who get the brunt of my so-called frustrations.
Home is where you're so comfortable, and you have to do classes and homework, so it's hard to concentrate. The biggest thing that I learned was that despite you having a lot of friends in college and a huge circle of people, at the end of the day, I had like the Bible scriptures
So
to
good.
help me stay awake at night so that I can finish my assignments. And I
Wow.
remember there was one night I was so tired. I was so tired, and I just kept saying, "Help me stay awake, God. Help me finish my assignment.
Wow.
I want to get good grades."
Right.
Yeah, and it actually works.
One of the things that we also realized is, a lot of things can discourage you.
Yes.
And what you need to do is actually rely on God.
Yes.
Just like when the doctor says, it takes 6 months for you to recover. If you accept it as that, then it will take a longer time. But if you choose to believe that God, is able to do things, and miraculously, and and He's able to heal. If you have that faith, that 6 months sentence that is given, it just goes away. So for me, I felt that relying on God and understanding what His promises are is very important.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah.
What would you say is the most important thing that you have discovered about this whole season?
For me personally, I think it took me out of my comfort zone, mentally and emotionally, and also spiritually. I have learned to actually rely on God. I had this before also, I know I went through some difficult times in the past, and I always believe that, God will come through for me. I also know that God, let certain things happen in my life so that I can understand His purpose in my life,
Mhm.
and my purpose here.
Right.
So in that sense, I think spiritually I am much stronger. We have become stronger in our prayer. So in that sense, I know that we've grown as a family also. Life is such that sometimes you do get pulled down with the weight of the world, so to say. But one thing I always remember is God is there for us.
Absolutely.
In the good times and also in the bad times,
Yes.
and all these are lessons for us to learn and grow.
Wonderful.
That's so good.
Wonderful.
I'm a woman, and the two girls at home.
Our helper is a woman.
Yeah.
Even our late dog was a woman.
was a girl. So you used to say that sometimes you just want to be left alone at certain times of the month, being surrounded by so many girls in one house.
Yes.
How does it feel like being surrounded by two young men and lots of male hormones going on around you?
Overly protected.
Okay.
I feel very secure.
Oh, that's awesome.
They've been very supportive and overly protective of me.
Do they prank you a lot?
Oh my goodness sake. Endless. At the start of the MCO, I lost 2 of my vases. Yes, that's because, this boy chased me around the house and slammed into my china vases, and I thought I broke one, but subsequently I found out that actually 2 of them broke. So I was very, very upset with that.
It all stopped after the vases broke.
No, it didn't
Oh.
stop after that.
It stopped
I don't think
100%.
it's going to stop for long.
It didn't stop, and I can testify to that because it's endless. But at the end of the day, well, it's just a vase, so it's fine.
Right.
It's so wonderful that even in times like this, that we can focus on what's most important, and that is family and our relationships and the people whom God has put into our lives, and how we need to treasure them, whether they are our family, whether they are church family, whether they are loved ones, and people whom God has placed around us. We need to treasure them. We miss you all so much, and we're just counting the days when we'll all get back to church again. And for everyone who's watching us today, thank you for joining us. God bless you. We look forward to seeing you in church sometime soon.